So it's called You Are Probably a Socialist, Already a Socialist, by second thought. So I guess I'm going to find out.
I'm using the term socialism very broadly here, as a sort of catch-all for generally leftist thought. This episode is more for the people who are interested in learning what distinguishes the left from typical American capitalist perspectives. So, with all that in mind, let's get started. I think we should start with the distinction between liberals and the left. This is something that trips up a lot of people, and it doesn't help that the media seems to use the two terms interchangeably.
Don't use the word liberal as an insult. If you're talking to regular people, use liberal as left. Don't use leftist or socialist or whatever. Literally no one knows the difference in like everyday talk.
Let's start with what the two camps have in common. Both leftists and liberals care about democratic governance and believe in universal human rights. But liberals, contrary to what many conservative news figures will tell you, still put their faith in capitalist market-based economics. They believe that the problems in our capitalist society stem from corrupt individuals, and if we simply root out these bad actors and pursue incremental reform, the system can function properly. Leftists have a different perspective. They believe that the problems we face are inherent to capitalism, and that the system is functioning exactly how it's supposed to. The left sees the problems identified by liberals not as problems within capitalism, but as a byproduct of a properly functioning capitalist machine. Capitalism cannot solve the problems it creates because that would impede growth. So leftists believe that we need to move beyond capitalism in favor of a better system. One of the most important distinctions to make between liberals and the left is that the left is concerned primarily with materialism. That is, the material realities of people's lives. Let's take an example policy proposal: student debt cancellation. For a liberal, canceling even $1,000 of debt would be a huge symbolic victory. For a socialist, the amount canceled and the total amount of indebtedness are less important than most people's more immediate concern: being able to pay the installment every month. The material reality for most students is the challenge of affording the monthly payment. If that challenge is not addressed, then the policy does not materially improve that person's life, and is therefore insufficient. Let's take another example: Medicare for all. This is a big one for the left because making healthcare free at the point of service would have an immediate and enormous material impact on the average person's life.
But removing debt from people, even in a small amount, wouldn't that improve their material life? Or giving them, even the ACA technically improves a decent amount of people's material lives, their material lives, like it makes their day-to-day life better, less people in poverty, more people with health care. And even if like you want to go down different paths of thought, capitalism and the markets of capitalism, it depends, like, do you mean markets are capitalism and capitalism, means markets? Because you could have facilitated markets working within a system that is more bent towards helping people in general.
If you can afford to
You
go
don't
to the
need
doctor,
full
you
decommodification for that.
could literally be extending your life by having access to the medicine you need. For liberals, they'd be happy with a program that kind of covers some people but only under certain circumstances, and private healthcare has to stay, of course. And then when they pass that bill, they consider it a huge victory. Same with race relations. The liberals are content to kneel in traditional African garb and paint Black Lives Matter over a street, but they fail to address any of the actual material concerns of the Black Lives Matter movement.
True.
That's the difference: symbolic victories versus actual material change. To the left, the most important
Well, yeah,
thing
liberalism is all about the show. It's all about the game. It's all about maintaining the play. And sometimes the play requires them to make life better for us. That's why different things are passed by Democrats to make it better for us. Because, Democrats win the game by being better to poor people and by, reinforcing welfare and like Obamacare. That's how they win the game. Republicans win the game by being white nationalists. Like, both sides are doing what's in their best market interest, essentially, to get the most people to vote for them so they can win the game. The reason why, like, fascism disrupts liberal democracy so much is because they don't give a shit about the game. They'll flip the whole board over to achieve their goals. And socialists, I guess, don't want to play the game, and they want to actually pay attention to the reality people are actually facing. No game, no flipping the entire board and trying to just maintain nationalistic, authoritarian control, but, flip the board and make it a more equal game for everybody. So everybody has an equal chance at success.
is materially improving the lives of normal people. Okay, now you should have a better understanding of the whole left versus liberal thing. But just to refresh, liberals may genuinely care about people, but their policies do not adequately improve people's lives. They still want to operate under the capitalist system and therefore are not part of the left. Let's take a minute to consider which of these worldviews is more appealing to you. I'd wager that most people are more concerned with their material realities than winning empty symbolic victories. You want to see tangible benefits to your own life and the lives of your neighbors. People have
literally saying socialism and socialist thought throughout history is only about improving material conditions is kind of disingenuous, isn't it? Unless if you cut out so many people who used socialism as a label and who, built their ideologies off of socialist ideology. Because a capitalist would tell you capitalism is about, just having a free market and rewarding people for hard work and allowing free enterprise and all that. A capitalist won't tell you imperialism is the goal of capitalism. There's a lot of terrible things included in that. And socialist, societies throughout history also had a lot of negative aspects of them. So I don't know if you could use socialist as a term just for like, okay, well, socialists are the ones that care about the material conditions. Like, is that labeling working?
Economic concerns, and they need to be addressed. We inherently understand this.
No, but I'm saying, like, is the term even worth keeping alive? Because that's my big contention with it. Like, is there a point to calling it socialist when it has such a drawback on it? Why focus so much on revitalizing socialism when we could do what the Republicans do and be, within the regular accepted sphere of politics in America and still get those goals across, still get unions, still get collectivism, still decommodify healthcare, do all that stuff. Like, Republicans don't come out and make a fascist party or a nationalist party, although that might be forming. They get progress by being within one of the two major parties and doing their goals that way. They don't have to, socialists and people on the left are so obsessed with their labels and what those labels mean and what the labels have meant throughout history. Like, I just don't know.
That we need to look out for ourselves and each other, and that's a key pillar of socialism. I think there's a lot to be said for things we inherently understand. If you were to ask a 7-year-old what we should do about people who don't have a place to live, or enough food to eat, or the medicine they need to live, what do you think they'd say? They'd say we should give those people what they need. Humans are a social and altruistic species. We all start out with these morals, and then we're slowly indoctrinated into capitalism.
If there's an issue like poverty or something, a capitalist in America isn't going to say, oh, those people need more capitalism. They say, oh, these people need more free markets. What socialists need to do is talk about that. Like, I hear so many people talking about, like, we need more socialization here or more socialism there. Just say we need a community and we need collectivism to take care of this problem because corrupt corporations can't. Don't use the word socialism as an umbrella term for that. Use it in the most, opportune optic way
as we grow.
That could actually
and it's
move
not
some
like
minds,
we couldn't afford more humanitarian policies. It would just mean corporations wouldn't make as much money, and that's a deal breaker under capitalism. Another key part of socialist ideology is democracy. Democracy is about as American as apple pie. We're always talking about how we have a strong democracy, how democracy is what makes our country great. And yet, our elected officials, both Democrats and Republicans, fight tooth and nail against...
Capitalists don't waste time getting ideological. They literally just go. They just go and do it. They just go and get shit done. Like, they don't give a shit about these stupid debates. They aren't debating on, like, oh, are you an ANCAP? ANCAP? Well, I'm a nationalist. Like, they don't do that stuff.
Expanding democracy. They're constantly making it harder to vote, or giving corporations more power over their workers, or refusing to acknowledge the rights of certain groups. Socialists want to expand democracy. We believe in the ability of the people to make decisions for themselves. We should be able to elect our officials directly, not let other people choose them for us. Our elections are unnecessarily complex, the Electoral College is a silly system, and politics has become little more than a sporting event. Socialists want to give electoral power back to the people so we can
I think that's useful too. Oops.
Directly vote for policies that would improve the lives of average people, not continue to enrich
and
the already...
this is what this guy is sort of doing. He's going through the different programs saying, like, okay, if there's an issue in healthcare, we want the community to take care of it. And what he's saying right now, he is breaking it down to, like, oh, democracy, we love democracy. We want everybody to have a voice in the system. But then, like, I feel like when you first say socialist, it shuts so many brains off, and our country is still ran by conservative old white people, and that's going to be an issue for at least another 20 to 30 years.
Obscenely wealthy and powerful. We should have a say in how our workplaces are run, not be beholden to every counterproductive corporate initiative. If you've ever worked in retail, you know just how badly the stores are managed. Take Best Buy, for example. I used to work at Best Buy as a camera expert. My job description was to help people find the best camera to suit their needs. I was good at it. I love cameras and I know how to pick the best one for any application. But, like any retail environment, the managers would swoop in, tell us how to do our jobs, and we'd end up with unhappy customers or feel horrible about ourselves for pressuring people to sign up for credit cards they don't need. Workers aren't stupid. We know how to run our departments better than the managers do.
True.
Socialists want to flatten labor hierarchies as much as possible and bring real
Terrible way to say it. Socialists want to flatten labor hierarchies. Don't ever say shit like that to a regular person. Literally, dumb it down. What's the? It's KISS. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it freaking simple. Don't say we want to flatten the work hierarchy. Don't say that. Say we want worker power. We want unionization. We want people to rise up and take back what is theirs. We are running the show right now. We should be getting the fruit of our labor. We should be getting, or that's even too wordy. We should be getting what is, what we're earning. We should be getting what we deserve. Our community needs to come together to get what we deserve because these people are not helping us. Why are we paying these bosses? Why are we paying these big companies to do something our community can do better?
Democracy to the workplace. Workers should be able to elect their managers and should make up at least part of every company's board. We believe that the rights of all humans are universal, that we're all created equal, no matter the color of our skin or where we come from or our sex, gender, ability, or who we love. No one should be considered a second-class citizen because of some immutable characteristic. We believe everyone—
You know that freaking meme where it's like, oh, here's a birthday cake. Oh, sorry, the socialist says we need to take a couple pieces of your birthday cake. Use that, but with, the reverse way. Like, oh, you made this much money for the company, but the company is taking this much of your wage. Are you kidding me? You deserve to get what you put into the company. You deserve a part in America. You deserve a part in our country. Our country is so great. You deserve a bigger slice of it. Because if everybody has a slice in it, we are all teammates in this thing together. We are all going to work harder to make life better for each other. That's what it should be about. Flip it on its head. Whatever point we can attack in the most simple way, playing on emotions, making sure people understand their own worth, we need to do that. No hierarchy bullshit, no theory, no freaking talking about the freaking, full worker ownership or nationalization of anything.
One should truly get a fair shake, and there's nothing more American than that. Okay.
Yeah, your owner is taxing you. Wait, why are you making your owner $50 an hour, but you're only getting paid $7 an hour? Do they deserve to make $43 an hour? Like, what's happening? Like, there's a Walmart outside my town. This Walmart came into the town, screwed up all the local businesses, killed all the local businesses. Walmart workers are on food stamps and Medicaid. So not only did Walmart come in and destroy all of our local businesses, but we're using our tax dollars to pay Walmart's employees for them. Are you kidding me? And they're making them this much money?
That's all well and good, but don't socialists want to take away people's freedom and make us all poor? On the contrary, we believe that capitalism stands in the way of real freedom, and we want to fix that. Are you really free to live your life if you spend 10 or 12 hours a day working for someone else? If you don't have health insurance because your employer won't provide it and it's too expensive on the free market, are you really free to buy the medicine you need? Are you really free to buy a home if you're barely able to make rent?
Good.
Sure, capitalism allows for the possibility of such things, but you're not really free to achieve them if the very system is hellbent on making them impossible to reach. Socialism addresses all of these concerns. In a more humane, post-capitalist society, all workers would make a fair wage, and they would have control over many of the day-to-day operations of their workplaces. Their lives would be materially better because they'd make more money, feel like their work is more meaningful, and work more reasonable hours when profit is not the sole driving factor.
Yeah, use right-wing framework. Work hard for what you earn. You deserve to get what you're working for. Pull yourself up by your bootstraps. Why are these rich kids going to $70,000 a year high schools, thinking they're so cool, going to $80,000 a year colleges automatically, thinking they're amazing, owning the companies because their parents were rich, and they look at us and think we're dirt when we're the ones keeping their society alive? If every truck driver in our country stopped working for one day, our country would literally freaking collapse. If truck drivers wanted to strike right now and said, we demand, we demand to all have full expansive healthcare, they would freaking get that shit. Because they would shut this entire thing down in a second.
Healthcare would be free and universal, so you wouldn't have to worry about getting sick and going bankrupt trying to pay your medical bills. Modest homes could be guaranteed to each family, with the option of buying a larger one if that's what's important to you. The point is, socialism aims to expand your freedom, not take it away. The people who claim socialism is trying to steal your freedom are the same people who have a vested interest in keeping capitalism around. They'd have to pay their workers a fair wage, and that's not in keeping with the capitalist goal of ever-increasing profits. Now, let's address the socialism makes everyone poor fallacy. There's an expression on the left that encapsulates the vision of wealth redistribution, from each according to their ability, to each according to their need. In short, those with more money contribute more, and those with less money contribute less, all for the benefit of everyone in society. Some people may not like this idea at first, but think of it like this. Have you ever been to a potluck? If not, it's a kind of communal meal where everyone contributes something. Someone with more disposable income might provide steaks or seafood. Someone who's a good baker might bring delicious homemade pies. If you don't have the means to bring anything big or expensive, you could always contribute a bag of chips, some soda, or paper plates. These are all things that people can use and will appreciate. The end result of everyone contributing something is a meal that is greater than any one person could have enjoyed themselves.
Okay,
it's
that's
fun,
good.
It's
That's
communal,
better than I thought it
and
would
it
be.
makes everyone feel like a part of something great. This is the vision of wealth redistribution in a nutshell. Now, apply this to society at large.
At a more right-wing framework, I usually say, you should be able, you should be willing to, pay back into the system that allowed you to be successful, and you should be making that system more equal for everybody. And if you really want competition in our country, you should be making sure everyone is starting off at nearly the same starting line, or as close as possible.
Vision of wealth redistribution in a nutshell. Now, apply this to society at large. Beautiful public parks for everyone to enjoy.
Yeah, that was better,
high-speed
better
public
than I thought it would
transportation
be.
that will make commuting much less stressful and cut pollution.
Yeah, why do our airports suck? Why do all of our roads suck? Why are all of our dollars going to these, these big wars and these big corporate subsidies when we should be improving, Main Street on the ground?
Where anyone can borrow books or movies or take classes. State-of-the-art schools for our children. This is a vision of the world that is possible if we can move beyond the toxic greed of capitalism. Does this all sound like you? Do you believe we need to address the material concerns of average people? Do you believe that everyone is created equal? That we should expand democracy? That healthcare and a decent standard of living are basic human rights? That we should work together to build a better tomorrow for everyone? That we need to move beyond capitalism to ensure a livable future? If this does sound like you, congratulations, you're a socialist. Now, there are plenty of
That last one, though, we need to move beyond capitalism to ensure a good future. That's not gonna... Literally, the beginning and ending of this, and some parts in the middle, would shut so many people's brains off. This is good for, younger people to watch, who aren't, indoctrinated into the propaganda yet. Religion should be used. Religion should definitely be used. Jesus, stories of Jesus going into the market. The only time Jesus was violent in the Bible, only time Jesus was mad in the Bible, is when he went to the market and beat the shit out of all the freaking the store owners, screwing over all the poor people. Jesus giving shit to the poor, of all things that people don't understand. But yeah, you see, average Western people love the ideas behind socialism. See, I'm not a full socialist, though. I'm not gonna adhere to any ideology, socialism, capitalism. I don't care. I just have certain things that I think work, and I'm going to keep on pushing for those things.